So it looks like we're getting even more new lore, this time dedicated to chaos. Yes, you've heard that right. In the brand new Space Marine Codex, there's a segment called the Blackheart War, and it's dedicated to everyone's favorite leader. No, not Abaddon, Huron Blackheart, as he's fighting against the White Scars, and he's leading the Chaos forces in the Chogoris system. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. Now, before you jump out at me and say, wait, Valrak, this is all old lore. Yes and no. So in the background now, there's a segment that was put out. I think this was 8th edition. This is taken from the brand new First Founding book, which is basically a reprint of old lore, and it's called the War of Chogoris. I'm not going to read it all. Basically, what happened is that Huron Blackheart and his forces sieged Chogoris, then the Great Rift happened, then demons invaded Chogoris itself. Hundreds of thousands of civilians were lost. The White Scars were pushed back. Khazar Khan arrived with his Stormseers, and they managed to then push back the forces of Huron Blackheart, and that is where it was left. Like Chogoris, it actually states it was left blooded, burned, and forever changed. Now what we have is new lore actually added to that old lore in the Space Marine Codex. And that is what they're now calling the Blackheart War. I'm going to put it up in the background so you can read it along with me. As it states, the Blackheart War, Huron Blackheart, Lord of the Red Corsairs, invades the White Scar homeworld of Chogoris. It is only at great cost that they are able to hurl back his hordes. By the time much of their world is aflame, worse, Blackheart's piratical hordes continue to ravage huge swathes of the Chogoris sector. Terrified reports suggest that potentially dozens of traitor-controlled space hulks, perhaps including Bale fleets of Abaddons, are disgorging, rampaging heretics and demons all over Imperial Worlds. Alone, the White Scars cannot defeat them, and so call for aid. Strike forces, including multiple chapters, including the Rampagers, Marauders, Destroyers, respond. So now it seems that we are going to get a brand new war, whether it's the Red Corsairs versus the White Scars, some of their successor chapters. The Bale fleets, as it mentioned in there, are discording hordes of Marines on Imperial planets. So potentially we could have the next big campaign being set up in the 40k lore. Now, just before we jump in the deep end and really go down this lore hole about who could take part in this, Primarchs and the other big characters, there was some information a couple of weeks ago when I covered the Tyranid Codex coming out that stated that Huron's fleet was actually attacked by Tyranid Tyranid ships in the warp itself, and there was a massive battle there. So I'm not sure if this is before or after. It's very, very strange when you talk about Warhammer 40,000 and timelines. Sometimes everything happens at the same time. Sometimes everything happens before, after, and things get changed all the time. Let's just go with this, and let's just say the Blackheart War is happening right now. Anyway, let's just jump in and let's talk about the potential of the Blackheart War. As it was mentioned there, Marauders, Rampages, other chapters, this is why I love full-scale Marine conflicts. No, I'm not saying it's going to be Horus Heresy Mark II and stuff. Hopefully the Guard get involved. Hopefully the Orcs turn up and they're like a third wheel to the party and just start crumping everyone in sight, right? I just want a huge, massive battles, bolters, blades, flamers, just unorthodox purging of everything going on. Chainsaws, power swords, everyone just having a Royal Rumble, big old scrap. And I think potentially this now could be that setting, because you have a big character like Huron, who basically needs a new model, by the way. Maybe this is the first steps of Huron getting that type of model. And then you have people on the other side like Khazar Khan, who I personally think should get a model on a bike, because he's a White Scar. White Scars without bikes are just nothing to me. But then you can maybe have potential of if it is being pushed back in the Chogoris sector and there really, 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 really is a lot of damage happening, who says maybe a Primarch might not turn up? We do know the White Scars Primarch is still missing. I'm not saying Jagatai Khan is going to pop out the ground like a dwarf, okay? I'm not saying that at all, but maybe like the Lion. gets involved in this. He could do his little forest walk onto Chogoris. He could start helping the forces of the Marines that are assembling to fight these huge hordes of chaos forces that are actually just breaching into the Chogoris sector now, and we can have this next big epic battle on our hands. And also adding to that, there's a few things to talk about in terms of Chaos. We know Chaos are supposed to be getting some new stuff, by the way, further on next year. I've heard Chaos Bikers are going to be a thing. Maybe that's why there's Chaos Bikers, because maybe it's going to be like White Scar bikes versus Chaos bikes. Let's put that rumor together and let it go into the rumorverse and let's see what comes back. That could be really, really cool. Also itself, as I mentioned, Huron needs a new model. The thing with Huron and the thing with Chaos itself, I personally think Abaddon has got to a level now where Abaddon is no longer a character. Yes, he has a character, on the tabletop. Yes, he's a character in the lore, but he's kind of like the opposite of the Emperor, where he's just so powerful. Wherever he goes, he kind of wins. I know there's a meme about like Abaddon never wins, but he's so powerful that anyone who comes across is just going to get curb stomped, maybe bar a Primarch. And even then, with the powers that he's being back with, the powers of Chaos, Draconian itself, you'd think maybe he actually could stand toe-to-toe with a Primarch and beat a Primarch easily. The point I'm trying to get across is that you need someone else on the battlefield which has a little bit more personality, which has a little bit more sway where, okay, this is just a Chaos Space Marine commander who is using his wit rather than the powers of Chaos to win the battle. It could go either way, and I think Huron Blackheart, personally, is that character. I think he has a huge fan base. I'm one of his fans, right? If you've read the Badab War and you know the backstory of Huron Blackheart, it's one of the greatest stories that hasn't been told yet in book format. We got it through like the Forge World Imperial Armor books, but I'm really hoping that GW actually do at some point do a novel run of the Badab War, because I think that would be incredible. So to have that character to come back to the Imperium, doing what he's doing, burning worlds and stuff, then getting other big Imperial commanders involved, I really do think it would be a great time for Chaos to really push Huron forward and make him into a true tactical, masterful commander that will get the respect of the Chaos Space Marines and the demons and all the hordes around him. And also, if that does play out, then potentially you could have a rival to Abaddon. Abaddon is the king on his throne at the moment. There's no one there like going against him. If you have Huron building up his power, maybe Abaddon's gaze starts to turn from the Imperium for a second. That gives the Imperium breathing room, and maybe we have like a kind of, I won't say civil war, but a kind of interesting situation within Chaos itself. That's the problem with Chaos. Chaos is all about power. That's why Chaos will never win, because as soon as you're about to reach that goal, you're about to get that power, someone stabs you in the back because they want that power instead of you. Right, enough waffling from me. The Blackheart War, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully this does pay off and we get something cool with the White Scars, Chogoris, all the other chapters that mentioned. Maybe the Lion turns up, Gilliman, Jagatai Khan, right? Who the hell knows at this point? Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, post it down below and we'll have a nice little chin wag down there as always. See you now. Have a great day and bye-bye.